Hello, and thank you for joining me. You're watching Game Brigade. If you're new here, my name is Brian. I appreciate you for staying. So today we are going to be talking about collection updates. We're going to be doing our keep or sell segment, where we're going to basically talk about games that are leaving the collection, or at least games I hope are leaving the collection. So turns out, last minute I realized that there is a board game swap happening tomorrow morning. And so I figured, you know what? Let's get some games together. Some of these I've already tried to sell unsuccessfully. We'll talk about that. Some of these are new additions to the culling list as we try to get games out of the collection. There's probably more games I need to cull. I just haven't personally come to the time of letting them go as of yet. But these games have been sitting on the floor for a while, and I think at that time it's time to go. So let's talk about these and kind of go through them. So the first game I have here is Deep State. This is going to be a few times I've tried to sell Deep State. This is a game that I've done a review for. This was from Crody Games. Just kind of an interesting little worker placement that deals with like a 1980s Cold War era espionage with some elements of the Illuminati kind of being in effect, and how that affects the media and governments and whatnot. It's an interesting game. We played it a lot when I got it for review, which was like in 2020 or 21. It's been a while, and we played it a lot in that time, and then haven't touched it really since then. And no one in my current player group, which kind of formed, the new player group kind of formed in 22. And we haven't really, no one's ever asked me for this. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to let it go if I can. This will be the second attempt of trying to sell it. I tried to sell this at $20. It didn't move, so I'm probably going to put it at $15 and see what happens. Okay. I'm taking off these Post-it notes because they have just old information on them. Okay, so this one's got Legends Untold. This was another game I did a review for from Inspiring Games. This is a dungeon crawler, small box dungeon crawler that uses low fantasy as its setting. When I say low fantasy, instead of being a knight or a wizard or a maiden or whatever, you are a broom sweep or whatever. Like, you are just a person, a villager, and your weapon is a stick, or if you're lucky, maybe a wooden broken bow. Yeah, really janky kind of stuff, but you eventually, level up and progress your character to get some better equipment. The system was interesting because this was, I think, like the novice set, and they had two. You could mix them together, or you could have one or the other. And I have the sewer set, so it's got a lot of sewer items, and you also will be uncovering tiles which have actually things that you're going to kind of look at and move through. It's an interesting game. I tried to sell this for $15, and it hasn't sold. I think it didn't sell at $15 because maybe people haven't heard of it. For $15, this is a great game. So maybe I'll try $13 and see if it goes from there. I'm not sure. Also, as a opening, if there's anything here that you want, email me. And you're hearing what I'm listing it for. You can buy it for that price. So just let me know. The only thing that would hold you up is if it's already sold at the game sale. I'll be picking these up. Unfortunately, the video will be live on Monday, and I'll be picking these games up on Sunday, the day before. So if they're already gone, they're already gone. But you can email me and be like, hey, Brian, is Legends Untold still available? I would love to pick that up for $13. And I'll be like, yes, sir, it is. No one bought it. So here is in the next game. This is Tortuga, 21.19, an unopened copy, and still has the stupid $62 price tag that I paid for this game. And this is the Kickstarter version from Gray Fox Games. I played a friend's copy of Tortuga. It's a deck builder from Gray Fox, obviously set in kind of a futuristic setting. And you are going to be moving around these different types of location tiles, if you can see that. Sometimes I thought about putting the upper camera so when I can do this, I can look at it while talking to you. Maybe I should do that from now on. Let me know in the comment section down below if that's something to do. And also, this is a giveaway video. It counts for the giveaway. Details at the end of the video if you're interested in the giveaway. So yeah, this is Tortuga. So anyways, the gameplay was okay. Like, this is a game I would rate like a 6.5 in my rating scale if I were to give this a review. It's okay if you like deck builders. This is a game that's not going to be awful, but it's not going to be like a game that you're going to want to play regularly, because it's just fine. It's nothing crazy. And so my friend who we played his copy, he sold his for 35 opened. So I've been trying to sell mine for 40 sealed. Haven't got any bites. So maybe I'll try 35 this week and see what happens there. 35 sealed. I mean, that's half off. Maybe we'll get a bite on that one. Who knows? Next is a game we just did a review for. This is Expeditions from Stonemaier Games. I gave this a 6.9. If you know my rating scale, in my reviews, I always put my rating scales in the description of the review so people can answer that. But anything that's a 6.9 and below will not stay in my collection. A game has to be at least a 7 for it to remain in my collection, and 7s aren't safe long term. I gave Expeditions a 6.9, and I did that purposefully in that video because it could be higher depending on the player group you have. But for me, where we normally are playing at 3 to 5 players, Expeditions is just a fall on the face kind of game. It just wasn't good enough for me. But yeah, so I'll be selling this one. I haven't really researched what I should be selling this for, so I don't have a price on this one just yet. I need to look it up. So unfortunately, I should have done that before I filmed this video. But yeah, so that'll be Expeditions from Stonemaier Games going to the game sale. Let's go ahead and do these better, and maybe I should start a second pile here after that. Okay, next I've got Champions of Midgard. This was one that I just recently pulled off the shelf. I've never played Champions of Midgard. In fact, I've made several videos in the history, the 5-ish years I've been doing Game Brigade here on YouTube. And this has made, I think, 2 videos where it was like games I need to play in the next 6 months, and I never have. And, you know, I bought this in 2017, 18-ish, and we bought it. We were excited to play it. We never did. And it's just been sitting in my shelf for eons. And even when I'm talking to my player group, you know, I'm like, hey, I want to play that. Does anyone want to play it? Oh, yeah, well, maybe when Mark visits, we'll play it, you know, whatever. And just no excitement. And it's taking up space. And just like Dead of Winter, at some point, I'm going to have to let it go. So I'm probably going to put this in the $20-ish range. I'll verify on BGG Market and see, you know, where that's at. Also check Amazon prices. Make sure I'm not priced too high on this one, but it's never been played. I think I punched it and organized it though. Let's find out. Let's find out. It's, yeah, I punched and organized, so it's ready to go. Just never played. So Champions of Midgard. I've also been told by a million people that, oh, you need this expansion to make the game worth it. So, and I don't have that expansion, so what can I do if I don't have it? Okay, so this is Bootleggers. This is an old game from Eagle Games. This is one I got from a collection sale, and I've held on to it because people in the comment section are like, oh, that's a great game. You should keep that game. But I've never had an incentive to really want to try this one. Maybe it's a game I want to play. But I've had this. I had it listed for $15, so we'll try 15, maybe 10. We'll see where it goes in terms of what I want to sell it for. But mostly I want to get this out of the house because it's a bigger box, and I need the room. So it's time for it to go. So that'll be Bootleggers. Next is a kind of a 3-piece combo. So let's do that. Next is a 3-piece combo, but right here we have, let's grab the actual core box. I had Wild Ascent here with the Kickstarter expansions, as well as I have all the stuff from the original Kickstarter effectively. So this is Wild Ascent from Lazy Squire Games. And I reviewed this one. I gave it like an 8.2, which is a pretty high review for me. But I said that there was problems I was having with the rule book. I said it was a gem in the rough. And I still believe that. While it can be a great game, it can be fiddly. It's got a lot of tokens that have to be managed. The storage solution is awful, unfortunately. The tokens get everywhere, so there's nothing matter unless you baggy everything, which is probably the better thing to do. It's just awful. And the rule books, you have to have all 3 rule books. So while it's a really good game, it just isn't worth my time when I have so many other games I need to play and cover for the channel. Wild Ascent is too much of a time suck for me. So I'm selling this for $90. Well, hopefully it'll sell at $90 for the whole thing. This is also the resin minis. And I came to the decision to sell it because I originally had backed Wild Ascent Avalon something. I think it's the next expansion that was going to kind of be a complete the Wild Ascent era with Lazy Squire Games. And I decided to cancel that pledge when I canceled my Storm Center pledge. And when I decided to do that, it gave me the confidence after about 6 months to be like, you know what? I think it's time Wild Ascent can now go and find someone who will give it the appreciation I think the game deserves and maybe has the time to actually play it. So yeah, 8.2 leaving the collection. Normally those are rare to do, but I just don't have the time to commit to Wild Ascent and get enough out of it to really enjoy it. So that will be Wild Ascent. And the final game is On Mars. This is Eagle Griffin Games, Vita Lacera. This game I also reviewed. I cannot remember. It's surprising how many of the games I reviewed are leaving the collection. It's like, I don't know, I didn't really plan on that, but they are, and I cannot remind you, I can't tell you what On Mars did. It probably was a high, like 8.8 or higher if I were to guess where I place On Mars. I loved On Mars. I backed this one on Kickstarter before I started this channel. It's a game that I followed very closely through the Kickstarter campaign and in terms of also its delivery. It was a game that I had to get to the table right away. I kind of missed those days of being a Kickstarter backer. I think it's kind of like you get jaded in the sense of you get too many projects coming in and you don't actually play some of them for months. I miss the days of being like, oh my gosh, On Mars just came in, let's play it this weekend. Those were simpler times, and I miss that at times. On Mars was a great game. It's a worker placement, Vita Lacera on crack, very heavy, super complex, but very rewarding in terms of the actions and the way that everything is kind of linked together. If you want to get water, well, you got to have trees, but to get trees, you got to have whatever, like I can't remember how the system is, but you got to have like everything requires itself. So it takes, a good thought process to really be effective. The reason I decided to sell this game is, like I said, the player group shifted in 22. And when I played this with a new player group, it's a heavy game. It's a 4.79, if I remember right, in that era. And it was just a miserable experience. And it really sucked the life out of me, out of a game. And when you have an experience that can be negative, it's the same thing that happened with Nemesis, the original Nemesis, where it's super high, and then one experience can just, saps it out of you. That happened with me in On Mars. And I haven't had the willpower to re-pull it back out and teach it to another group of people. Although I'm very confident my current player group would be very good with the weight of this game, I just don't want to go through the experience of having to relearn a game. This is a game that when I played this originally, we sent a video that was like an hour long to each of the players the day before and said, watch this before you come, so we're all kind of on the same page. And people did. That's not as common with my current player group. Normally it's like one person watches and everyone else kind of expects that person to teach everyone. So I couldn't want that to be on with On Mars. It's a very rewarding game, but it's heavy. I'm not selling this game very well. But I did give it a high scoring because it's a great game if you're willing to play it. So I think I'm going to list it at $70. I think that's a fairly fair price, maybe $90. It's between $70 and $90. The game sells new for $120-ish, so maybe $80. What else? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Probably $80. I'll probably throw it for $80. If it doesn't sell on Saturday, I'll do it for $70 on Sunday. We'll see what happens there. But yeah. Normally, that's what I do with my sales, by the way, when I take these to the game store. I have a Saturday price and then a Sunday price. Most games go on Saturday. Almost all of them go on Saturday. Not a lot of them go on Sunday. So even though you're offering a better deal, I don't know if it's FOMO or what, but when people see a game they want, they're not really willing to wait the day to come back and see if it's still there at that cheaper price. So... But, I do that just to incentivize, hey, I want this gone, so if you do come back Sunday, please take it. But it doesn't really happen as much as I wanted to. But yeah, I'm going to go and get these all priced up and put them in my bag and load them in the car and get going. So as I mentioned, we still have our giveaway. The video description down below will have a link to the full details of the giveaway. So if you are new to the channel or new to the giveaway, please watch that video so you have full reference for it. But remember, to be entered into the giveaway, you have to comment on my video with the specific hashtag, and you need to be subscribed to the channel and also like the channel. Help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so for today's video, we are going to do hashtag Cull, C-U-L-L, and I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on removing games from your collection. Is there anything that you are currently hoping to get rid of? Is there anything that you have recently sold? And if so, what did you sell it for? I want to hear what you guys' thoughts are on this part of the hobby. And you know, the hobby is a consistent cycle. We're bringing things in, and when things come in, then obviously stuff has to go. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. My name is Brian. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you guys staying here till the end. And as always, I will talk to you very soon.